Hi everybody, my name is Rustagi and I am the COO and co-founder of a startup called Neuphony across Europe and India, and we are developing a wearable device for meditation. So many people have said that we don't know if we are doing it right, we don't know if it really helps. I think this is just a philosophical or psychological concept and it's not really changing your brain. And with Neuphony, we want to change that. We want to bring the science, the futuristic science, and the ancient meditation together to help you validate and find the right meditation technique for you. As a part of our startup, we bring across professionals from all across the world to come and share their expertise and their journey with us. And also, we bring people with motivating mental health stories to come and share their struggle and how they overcome it. And today we have Kris, who's perfect for both the parts. Welcome, Kris, to the platform.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm super excited and really happy to be a part of this.
I am so glad that I could finally get somebody from Munich because of the language barrier to talk to me in English. Okay, I'm so excited to have you on my platform. So everybody, Kris is a holistic health and nutrition coach. She is a yin yoga and meditation teacher, and she is also the host of Bravely Balanced podcast. So Kris, first of all, congratulations for all you have been through and all that you have built out of it.
Well, thank you so much. That's actually the first time that someone says congratulations for all you've been through. I really like that. That's a very nice thing to say. Thank you.
No, I know how difficult, like I feel this is the success stories that I want to share on my platform. This is what matters. Your financial strength, your income, Forbes 30 under 30, all those things are not important. This is what is important, what you have built out of. So congratulations again for all you've been through. So now can you walk all of our audience? So firstly, I would like to ask our audience to please ask any questions if you have. We will be very happy to answer that for you. So now, Kris, can you walk us through what you have, how it was when you were 24 years old and you went through all those mental health issues?
Sure. So back at the time, I was studying in Lisbon,
Mm-hmm.
Portugal, together with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a master in management, and university was, for me, it felt like super stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the time I felt very overwhelmed, and like I just didn't do well enough, and it was just really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, like I started to feel more than just overwhelmed and stressed. Sometimes I felt like I would get dizzy. I felt like physically very unwell.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened is that or on top of that, like physically feeling unwell, I started to not being able to really concentrate anymore. My brain was constantly super foggy, and I started to get like real anxiety and panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And they got worse and worse, up to a point where I had really a total breakdown. Like I was lying on the floor. I had the feeling like my heart was going to explode. It was racing so fast. I was sweating, and at the same time I felt cold. I had the feeling I couldn't properly breathe anymore. I had like my head hurt so much and so badly. And usually when I had those panic attacks before, it would not be as bad, or it would stop again after a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
But then it got back to a point where it just didn't stop anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so bad that my husband had to bring me to the hospital, because
Oh
at that moment I wasn't aware that I had mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was something totally physical.
Mm-hmm.
And so he brought me to the hospital, and in the hospital they immediately knew I had a panic attack.
Yeah.
They gave me tranquilizers, and they helped brilliantly, almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me was my start where I realized, okay, wow, this is not something physical that I have. So all the doctors I've been to get my heart checked, my blood sugar checked, my brain checked, my everything checked was like for nothing basically. And it dawned on me that I had mental health issues. And so that's how I started my journey into, yeah, kind of healing.
Mm-hmm.
So I started with a lot of yoga, I started with meditation, and I also started therapy.
Okay.
So yeah, that was kind of like my whole
Wow.
start into this.
So, and it all of this when you were just 24,
Yeah,
and you
so
were like,
true, like,
and you were
sorry.
away from home, like you're German by birth, and then you were in Portugal.
Yeah, so I'm German and Luxembourgish,
Okay.
and that's true. Like, yeah, I was away from home, and yeah, with kind of 24, just dawns on me right now that that's actually quite young still to have all of this and
Yes.
to have to be with it like kind of like, I mean, not really alone. I had my husband, but still in a way alone.
Exactly, because
So
sometimes it's like no matter who that person is and no matter how close he or she is, sometimes that is not enough. Sometimes you need a stranger's opinion on it, you know?
yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
it's just like if you have like a lot of people, your family around, it just helps, I think.
yeah, that's definitely true.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I think what was also really tough for me is that like my mental health struggles, they got so bad that when I stopped, like when I was done with
Mhm.
university, that they were so bad that I actually had to quit my job because I just wasn't able to work anymore. I just didn't have the capacity, like the mental and physical capacity for it anymore. And I
Yeah.
think that was really tough on me as well to see what a big impact it actually had on my life.
And actually, this is becoming like it is young, but now this is becoming like more and more common. Like at that time, I think we'll see only 4 or 5 24-year-olds going through mental health issues. And now I think that I see 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds reaching out over like DMs, which they want to be anonymous and talking about like mental health issues. And they are seeking like help, solace, like somebody to talk to. And this is the truth. I like that students are at least reaching out, but it's just sad that this is happening, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. I did this mental health talk for university in
Mm-hmm.
Germany, like for first semester students,
Mm-hmm.
and I told them about my own story, and then so many of them actually afterwards reached out and telling me that like they know those feelings of anxiety and like total overwhelm and sometimes even panic attacks or mild depression, that they
Mm-hmm.
know that so well. And I thought that was so sad, like because for
Yeah,
me, I think, university is supposed to be like the best
fun.
time
Yes,
to have.
exactly.
And if then you're struggling with like these kind of issues, I think that's really, really tough. And
Oh
yeah,
my
that
God.
kind of was really strong. Yeah.
And you also went through like some body image issues, right?
Yes. So I like for me, I would say I was always like on the chubby side, like ever
Mm-hmm.
since I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was really for a while really difficult, especially as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So I would never ever feel comfortable in my body. Like I always like was tucking in my belly, like
Yeah,
like always trying to like tuck it in.
I know that.
And when I would when I sit, I always like put a jacket around my hips or something that like it doesn't show.
Mm-hmm.
And like from all of my friends, I'm always the curviest one,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And I was obsessed with the balance when I would go on a diet. Like I was obsessed with the like stepping on the scale or on the balance to see what my weight is.
Yeah.
Like if I had like just 300 grams less, like it was a total win for me. And like I was always like so focused on this. For me, it was at that point it was really like kind of fighting my
Mm-hmm.
body,
Yeah.
and it took me a while and a lot of therapy to realize that first of all, like it's not that important, like how I look, that there are just like many different types of bodies.
Yes.
Um, and also actually my yoga teacher training helped me a lot about that because we went through like the anatomy of the human being
Mm-hmm.
and like how different each bone structure is,
Mm-hmm.
so that no yoga pose, like that each yoga pose will look different in everybody,
Like,
so that there's no one right way, but there are many right ways and you
Kris.
have to find yours. And that also this like constantly trying to fight your body is just gonna kind of make it worse, so that if you want to change something, that you first have to accept who you are and then like kind of work with your body instead of trying to fight it. So that was a pretty big realization for me. And I had
Wow.
this moment where I didn't step on a scale. I don't know, do you say scale or balance?
Yes, a
Like
scale, yeah.
a scale. So that I didn't step on a scale, I would say, for like 6 months, like 4 or 6 months, I think it was. And then I got to this point like where I looked into the mirror and I thought, oh, I actually look quite good. Like I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel good
Yeah.
in my body and feel nice. I feel fit. And then I thought, well, if I feel so good and I think I look good, I
Then
must have lost weight.
it.
And so I thought, okay, go and check out and step on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
And on the scale, I stepped on the scale and I realized I'm actually the heaviest I've been to date. And then
Wow.
like that totally blew my mind, because how dependent we are on this stupid number that is
Number.
written on the scale, which just totally
Uh,
doesn't make any sense. Like it came to me at that moment.
I cannot relate with you more than at this time because I cannot remember the last time. Like I think it's been more than like years when I've last weighed myself, because I feel that that number gives me stress and I don't want to see myself like I am this many kgs. I want to see myself like what I see and feel in the mirror, because that is the most important aspect. Like there were times I remember when I was afraid crossing through the mirror because I didn't want to
Yeah.
see a reflection of myself. And to the times, actually at that time I was like very thin, like, but you were supposed to be 50 and you were 55, so that's
Mm-hmm.
bad. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I should have just cherished that time. But I totally get that. And I think in India this is a very very common thing, that your weight is like the utmost important thing.
Okay.
And not no, I don't want to say India, I want to say in our parents generation, in the society we live in, not for yourself, but the society always have this, like, first personality, first impressions of your personality are from your weight. And these
Mm,
things are the most, I think, like, no matter what you've done, oh, you've gained weight. And this is a little
yeah.
mental health issues provoking.
100%. Yes, I
So
agree.
can you share that part, because this is like, I know about India. I'm not sure I have lived in Germany, but I don't have like a lot of German friends. So and even if your friends are always the cool ones. It's not, it's the society and your relatives who are, I think, the little. So can you share how it is in Europe, like?
Yes, absolutely. So for me, growing up as well, it was that like if I, for example, took a second plate, like and I would, yeah, just put something
Oh.
more on my plate after I already ate the first plate, that then like the family would say, like, "Are you sure you want to do this right now?
Oh.
Like, are you really so hungry?"
Mm.
And like also very often like getting those like little like pinches into your belly. Oh, like look at
Yeah.
this cute little
Yeah.
belly, and which like I think already as a child is can be a kind of traumatizing.
Yes.
And also like moving forward, like then whenever this time where often kids get a bit mean,
Yeah.
that I was the fat one or the chubby one. Like look at the chubby one or the fat one there.
Yes. Oh.
So that definitely was present a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also actually like yeah, my whole life that was very very present, that you always see and hear how the perfect body must be, how the
Mm.
standard body must be and must look like. You must be slim, there can be no, like no fat in your belly or on your legs, like it's totally normal that you have a thigh gap, which by the way
Yes.
I don't have. So like wearing a skirt for me is like super horrible in summer.
Oh God.
And so I always felt like I'm worth less kind of
Mm-hmm.
because my body doesn't look like most of other
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yeah.
And however, where I had a very nice experience is I lived for 2 years in Cape Verde in West Africa,
Okay.
and there it is totally different. There
Yes.
they
I was.
actually appreciate curvy women,
Yes.
and they or not just appreciate or like actually
Prefer.
prefer
Yeah.
curvy women. And for me, that was like a total highlight that people would look or that men would look more at me than at my super thin like friend next to me.
Mm.
So, but also that then shows me like how tough it is for women, I think, nowadays. Like if, for example, like you're growing up in Europe and you're not this perfect picture of a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and like, but also like how related it is depending to where you're growing up,
Yeah.
like and what, like how the culture is there. Because I think that whenever I was younger, it was still super normal to kind of fat shame people,
Yes.
where I think for my like for now for the generations like younger than us, I think there is already not that much part of the culture anymore, or where people really make an effort to diversify body image and like
Mm-hmm.
body pictures more. Like I see more sustainable brands right now, for
Yeah.
example, like using chubbier women as well. And like, I mean, just this thing that if you're going into a normal store, like, I don't know, for example, H&M,
Nem-
here often the highest size they have is size L. I mean, come on.
yes.
Like, you
And
feel
their L
so,
is also not really L.
yeah, exactly. They're like, even if you're wearing a normal L, that L doesn't fit you. L is still too small.
Exactly. But you know, this
So,
one thing I noticed that in Europe, I think the sizes are a little still better than the ones in India. You know, in India,
oh, really?
like if I am an M in Europe, I'm an L in India. So it's like that.
Oh, wow.
So it's
Yeah.
not really international standards, and it's just like what perception you have of an woman should be,
Yeah.
and those are used as SM. Like M is perfect, and then
Yeah.
L is not so much. Like
No,
I prefer
yeah.
buying my clothes in Europe actually.
Yeah, but I think that then makes it like even worse, right? Like if you're like knowing two different cultures and like that in one culture like you're size M and then like in the other one you're actually a size L, that then like makes it kind of even harder for you to yeah to adapt and to be okay with it.
Exact. But this, then I think that, there is a country where I'm a small size S. So I really don't, now I don't depend or think like the size SML is really important for me, because now
Yeah.
I'm like, it really doesn't matter. I just have to see myself in the mirror and look, oh, that's cool. I have to have that feeling. And that's really the important thing. Like before coming from Germany to here, like I generally visit like once in a year, and then sometimes you lose weight, sometimes you gain weight. With this year, with the COVID, especially, I think
Everyone
everyone
weight.
gained weight. And like I always have this like insecurity in my mind that no matter what I have done in the past 1 year, I have a business now, I'm this, I'm that, blah blah blah. All aside, you gained weight. you
Mm-hmm.
know
Yeah, people just still just judge you by your weight and how
Exactly,
you
and it's
look.
not by this. And I'm always been a person who likes to be kind of questioned on my intellect rather than my appearance. I'm not that person who will like before walking into a room think 10 times about my appearance, but I will think about like if I have the facts right, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
So this is amazing, Kris. So we've talked about like anxiety, depression, body image issues, and everything. Can you give one advice to the people first before we start talking about what people can do themselves? Can we start by talking what can the people around us do, because we have discussed what they do wrong. So can we also discuss what they should do right to kind of help their loved ones who are going through this?
That's a good question. Um, I think the one of the most important things is probably try to be less judgmental and
Mm-hmm.
try to force less that everyone has to have a certain label, like
Mm-hmm.
that you're like big or small or
Mm-hmm.
thin or fat, or like trying to maybe keep those labels away. And something that I really appreciate is if someone in my surrounding is like, whenever they already get feeling, oh, I might not be doing so well, if someone is asking, how are you? Like, how are
Are
you
you?
from the heart, kind
Exactly.
of. And if they just say, well, let me know, is there anything I can do? Can
Mm-hmm.
I maybe like take your dog today and go for a walk with him so you don't have to do it, or like
Yeah,
just something like that, even if it's just a small thing. I think that that's like often something that is very nice, like, and you feel seen for really like
exactly.
who you are. And I think that is something that, at least for me, is something that I really appreciate.
Sh-
If someone sees me for who I am and truly wants to support me and
Mhm.
be there for me,
Yeah.
I would say that.
This is great. And what up okay, so I have two like one question I feel is really, I think I like asking people is, are you happy? You know, how, like, this question, I feel like I've got the best responses from people. Like,
Yeah.
and they're like, people have never asked me that. And I'm like, that is so sad, like, are you happy? This is what it should. You have job, you're gain weight, you're lost weight. This is one thing which matters the most. And second thing I wanted to ask was, what if a person is actually like gaining weight in an unhealthy manner, and the family or the friends kind of want to, I wouldn't want to use the word intervene, but kind of like show concern in a very constructive manner.
Yeah. That's a good point. And I think there, the best way to use it, or like to, to kind of do something, is like by that question that you just asked, like, are
Ex-
you happy? Because probably someone that in a very unhealthy way gains weight is not happy, because for some, like, they're probably not going to feel well. Maybe they feel that their health is deteriorating, or something like that. So
Yeah,
usually there is probably like a reason, like, be it physically or
definitely.
mentally. I think this "are you happy" question is the best question that you can ask, because if the person is answering truthfully, then you can say, okay, what can I do to support you? What can I do to
Yeah.
help you? Um, would you like for me to give you maybe some suggestions, like maybe
Mm-hmm.
like check up with some doctors or something
Mm-hmm.
like that? Or is there anything else that I can do? And I think if the person is not answering truthfully,
Mm-hmm.
that is a really tough situation then to
Yeah.
be in, because like as a relative, or like as a close friend, you're worried about that
Yeah.
person. But I think if that person in that moment is not answering truthfully, I think that still, or yet again, the most important is that you're not judging this person, but that
Yes.
you're ensuring this person that you are going to be there the moment that they want help and
Exactly.
that they ask for help.
Perfectly. You answered it like perfectly. Thank you so much for sharing this with our audience, because I'm asking these questions from you because we want to bring like how we would have felt.
Yeah.
So this is very important because we want to protect the others who are out there, people who are listening to us, so that nobody else is facing that like being cornered feeling.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for answering that. Now, I would like to ask you, like, what were the things that helped you? So, first, we can start with yoga, yin yoga specifically,
Mm-hmm.
like you teach. So, how did yoga help you understand what was wrong with your, like, maybe lifestyle, and then how it improved?
Yeah. So yoga, I started yoga I think in my second semester of university,
Mm-hmm.
because I started to feel like so overwhelmed. And like already back then I read, oh,
Mm-hmm.
like supposedly yoga, like this super, was already like quite this modern and hip thing to do,
Yeah.
supposed to help you. So I looked for the closest yoga studio to my
Mm-hmm.
university, and started going there. And for me, at that moment, it was not even that much the yoga postures itself, but it was more this having a space where I can come as I am, where I
Yeah.
didn't have to fulfill any expectations or didn't have to prove anything, didn't have to write an exam on anything, but I could go there even if I would be in a super bad mood, if I would feel awful, I could go there and I was like, I could feel that my teacher has the space for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to take that space, if I need more space, or like that this space was
Mm-hmm.
there. And that is something that in a way gave me a lot of security. Like it made me feel more secure and often less scared.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the thing that made the biggest difference for me. And then like I got more and more into the topic of yoga, and like not just, I mean, most
Yeah.
people probably know, but there's so much more to yoga than just those yoga
Yes.
postures, like the entire yoga philosophy behind it, like the breathing techniques behind it, the meditation, everything. And I started to feel a lot of comfort in
Mm-hmm.
that. And it also helped me realize how really, in a way, messed up my lifestyle was before, and
Mm-hmm.
how blindly I was running around, basically, and how naively as well, in a way.
Yeah.
So it kind of like helped me to, yeah, to live a more conscious
Mm-hmm.
life, not just on the mat, but most importantly, it also helped me off the yoga mat.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like, I think the main thing that has really helped me. And then later on, I think like 2 years later, I tried my first yin yoga lesson,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in love. I have to say, like as yin yoga is just like super like static, where basically everything is lying down and or sitting,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really about just relaxing. And I realized in that moment that like this is probably something that so many people would need, is
Yeah.
instead of like, because I feel that many people, whenever they're the whole day in the
Mm-hmm.
office, they feel, oh, I haven't done anything today. Like now I have to really go out, like start sweating and like really like push my body hard. But they don't realize that even if they're like sitting the whole day, it's still a lot of stress for us. And like
Yeah.
you probably notice best, it's a lot of stress
Yes.
still for our brain and our nervous system.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what we would need is actually something where we can really calm down and like get into the like calm status again, this more
Mm-hmm.
quiet status again. And that is why yin yoga is so fascinating for me, because I think it's this like awesome balance for everything that's like dynamic, to have this like slow and static as well again.
Yes. This is amazing. So this is why actually yoga and meditation help, because it's actually more important for your mind than your body, you know. Your
Yeah,
body might be happy, but your mind is unhappy. Not a good combination. But that's why I think we call it like a mind, body, and then soul. Like that's the order it
yeah,
has to go in. Like yoga helps us target like our brain activity, directly impacting our alpha, theta, delta, and gamma waves also now.
yeah,
So it actually changes the brain structure, releasing those hormones, making us feel happy, and kind of actually changing the outlook towards life. And then we start accepting everything that is wrong. As you said, you know, like yoga not only helped you in like physical aspect, but also in being aware like what are like food was going wrong,
yeah.
what were the lifestyle issues were, everything associated with that. Wow. And do you also do meditation?
Yes, I
You
also do
teach.
meditation. I started meditation like with in the yoga, with the yoga practice as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I got really interested in this whole topic, like of how our
Yeah.
lifestyle impacts our mental health. So I started to research a lot, like read a lot of like books on the topic and really research about it. And I read more and more about meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to meditate like really every day.
Wow.
And it, for me, it has really, for me, it is more, I can see how important meditation is for me on the days that I'm not doing it,
Yeah.
then I realize, okay, like I feel way more unsettled today. I am reactive much faster to
Y-
things that usually I have way more calm to react to. Like, so it's always on the days where I didn't do it that I realize, okay, that's why you need to meditate.
Yeah.
So that is
Oh.
and that is why for me it is really important. And so that's why also then on top of the yoga teacher training, I did a meditation teacher training, which was super interesting because
Wow.
it was like it was a bit like a combination of those
Mm-hmm.
also silent meditation retreats.
Yeah.
So it was 10 days, and a lot of it was being in complete silence and doing a lot of or learning a lot of different yogic meditations and also like more Buddhist meditations
Yeah.
and some more personal development meditations. And so for a while, I actually really did it that I would meditate every single day, at least 50 minutes,
Wow.
uh,
That's
which
amazing.
I was very proud of myself in that moment too. But now I kind of bury it. So like usually I try to meditate I try to keep it that at least it's 20 minutes a day. On weekends, if I have more time, I do those 15-minute meditations.
Wow. 50 minutes is like a really good amount. Like I would love to do 50 minutes daily. I do like 20 to 30 minutes
Yeah.
like now. But this is like and the fact that you were saying that not doing meditation told you how good that was for you. A month back, I was in Germany and like we had pre-launched our product and it was so stressful that I think that 1 week I was like not being a very mindful leader and I
Mm-hmm.
was like being a little irritated and agitated on everybody around me, like the
Yeah.
different teams at my home. And I was like, I was like, oh, it's just a lot of work, you know? And then I realized that particular week I was so busy, like I was like, maybe this week I will not do meditation. And then I was like, shit. And then after 1 week, I realized, let me try that. And then it really, really helped me because then I think since then I've been doing like daily. Now I'm in India, so I have a lot more time, so I'm more relaxed, so that work pressure is not that much, but so
Yeah.
it meditation like really helps me control myself rather than being controlled by my
Yeah.
moods.
Yeah.
There is a question from Manohar for you. If yoga is for mind, what's for body?
I think like for the body, then it's really like more going to the gym or doing Pilates or something like that. I think yoga can certainly also be supportive for the body,
Exactly.
like for sure. And I think it also depends a little bit what your intention is or what
Ex-
your goal is. Like for me, it is usually always my mental health and my
mhm.
mind. Um, but certainly I also have days where in my yoga practice, like I want to do something super dynamic and very flowy. So just to feel my body more.
Exactly.
Um, but I like for me personally, yoga is more about the mind than it is about the body.
Definitely.
But I think it really depends on what your own intention is behind it.
Like I totally agree with you because for me also yoga is for the mind first, but for me I have a lot of like high beta activity in my prefrontal cortex, which means like I'm a very hyper anxious person. So when I do like jogging, I like my heartbeat is racing. I actually feel like I'll have a panic attack. So there's, I think, a loop which kind of pushes me. I cannot do upbeat exercises. Like
Yeah,
I hate
definitely.
doing that. Like, so for me, when I wanted to lose weight, also I had like 6 years, 7 years back, I did yoga. At that time, I did yoga for my physical body, and now I do yoga for my mental peace. So as you said, I think exactly like what you want to achieve. Like if you want to gain muscles, then definitely yoga is not your thing. Then you have
Yeah,
to kind of put some weights up. But then if you're just looking for maintaining your mental peace and your body or losing some weight, toning your muscles, then I think yoga is your thing. So Manohar, please tell us if we have answered what you were looking
yeah.
for. So, this is amazing, Chris. So you use like yoga and meditation, and I think you also went for therapy. And did that help?
Yes, like therapy for me definitely was crucial.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in therapy now for I think 4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, the first 2 years I still did in Lisbon when I lived in Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
And there it was more to treat this like really, in that moment, very severe panic attacks and
Mm-hmm.
anxiety that I have.
Okay.
So just to kind of get that back under control and like learning how to better deal with it,
Mm-hmm.
because I am still a person that is fast, very anxious. So like
Yeah.
just learning what I need to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And now I am still in therapy, even though I don't really have, like, I don't have panic attacks at all anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I still very rarely have a little bit of anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
but I still feel that I'm learning so much about myself and about my behavioral patterns that I
Mm-hmm.
have, and like how much of that comes from my childhood and
Oh my
how
God.
like my general coping mechanisms are. And like, for example, it has made a huge difference in my marriage also,
Mm-hmm.
my own therapy. So I feel that I am I am for the first time really truly learning to hold space for myself and to connect more
Oh,
to
wow.
myself, which like before I had no idea that that's a thing that even existed. Like for some people that probably already sounds very spiritual,
Yeah.
but for me it is really something that for the first time I have the feeling that I know how to properly take care of myself. I know how to set boundaries better, how to say no better, because that's not something that comes very easy to me.
Yeah.
So even though like I don't have those super severe mental health issues anymore, I still feel how therapy continues to improve my life. Like it's not about improving, but to kind of support me in
Tips.
how I am growing as a person.
Oh my God, you could not have described it better. It was so amazing. Like I was like, oh yes, it was okay. Thank you so much for giving such a good explanation of how helpful therapy or working on yourself can be, because you captured like everything. It's not about anything else, just being happy and content in what you are, and whatever you have to do, yoga, meditation, to work on yourself, like that's the utmost important
Yeah,
thing. Oh wow. Okay, I'm a little short of words right now, because
really.
it's so important in the life we are living right now. There's so much more competition, there's so much more pressure of doing better every day. People are like, there's issue with every culture or with every country. I won't say like India is the best or Germany is the best, but every culture has their own issues. Like people ask me, are you happy? I'm like, I'm happy living in Germany because there's a lot of like a personal space, but sometimes that like a lot of personal space,
Yeah,
then it becomes difficult when you want to seek out, when you're in depression. People don't have that nature where they'll keep on constantly asking you. They do give you that space, and sometimes when you're
yeah,
having mental health issues, then that cannot be a very good thing.
yeah.
We have one more question from Manohar. Does yoga help with neurogenesis like meditation?
I am like I think that for my side that's a bit too scientific. Like I think I would not be the best person to answer that or to give like a really satisfying answer for that.
So, in that case, I would like to take that, if it's okay.
Sure,
So,
sure, of course, absolutely.
yoga and meditation definitely helps with anything that has to be like with your brain structure. There are so many researches going on where meditation can actually help with like brain disorders, like neurological disorders, like autism, ADHD, schizophrenia, paralysis, so many more things. And when it comes to like stress, anxiety, like that is like a full-fledged research already been done. Like you can actually see the gray matter increasing. You can actually see in each person the brain activity being altered because of meditation. But at that same time, I would like to comment that it's very important that you're doing the right meditation. Like for me, mindfulness meditation is not good. Like by theory it is, by theory, for a brain which is very hyperactive, mindfulness meditation is the one you should do. But I have been through traumatic times in my life, so when I tried meditation, I actually got anxiety attack and panic attack, and I couldn't sleep at all. So it's very important to kind of first get what kind of brain you have, because like the kind of body you have, you'll do that kind of physical workout. So a person who's very thin, cardio might not be the way, or like losing weight might not be the diet for you. Similarly, meditation also is like one size does not fit all. What might work for Kris might not actually work for me. And as she said, like yoga is not about a right posture. Similarly, yoga and meditation, it's not about this is right and this is it, you know. It's like she might do it differently, I might do it differently. We have like a lot of variety we can choose from. So I hope that answers Manohar's question. Kris, one last question. As a part of our life, I generally ask, like, now you teach the same things. You've changed your own life, and you're changing the lives of others as well. And I think that's the most important motivation. That is something I have for my startup, and that's the same thing that you have, and I really cherish that. Can you share a story or something where yoga and meditation kind of changed the world of like people? Like we know your story now. Do you have anything else which like you want to share out with the people? A story, it can be with regards to body image issues, mental health, anything which is like very close to your heart.
Yeah, actually, there was like immediately one of my students coming to my mind. He himself is struggling with mental health issues, and he already has told me like many times that he is, and that yin yoga really helps him. And so there was this one time where like I had like no sign-ups for the class except for him.
Okay.
And he then like he also came late to class. He came like 10 minutes late, and like he was like super sorry about it and all, and like he said, oh, but like now it's just me, like so we should not do the class, like it's not really worth it for you. And I said, no, like we're both here, let's still do the class, like I'm happy to still like teach, even though if it's just for this one person. And he said, yeah, okay, sure. And so we did like a normal class, and then in the end, like he packed all of his stuff up, and he was about to leave, and then like he turned around and he said, Kris, like you have no idea how much it has helped me just knowing that I can come here and that you have the space for me. This is exactly what I needed today. Thank you for holding space for me. And
wow,
that is something that like even just thinking about it right now, like I get tears into my eyes again, which was so beautiful. And I think this is something that like I have been underestimating a bit, like how important it is that like as a yoga teacher you truly are present with your students and like really hold space for them, and that he shared this so openly with me, like that really for me also made a very big difference. Like I'm happy that for him it made a big difference, but also for me that really showed me again like how much I love teaching.
Wow, this is such an amazing story, and I would like to this is the best answer. Like thank you for sharing this story, because now yoga has become such a commercial thing that I would like to say that yoga is not just a physical activity. It's a way of living. It's a lifestyle. You cannot have gratitude and compassion and like be a yoga teacher. You know, this is something very difficult for me to kind of take. And it's not only about Europe or the Western countries, it's also about India, like, where this thing started. Like, now it has become so commercial that people have forgotten what it really is. And no matter what it looked like from the outside, a lot of people are doing like that physical exercise and pose for their mental stability. And thank you for helping that person out just by being there, because that is right now the most important thing, and that's the most important message I think both me and Kris would like to give to everybody, is that just be present in the lives of people around you who are going through so many issues like this. Thank you so much, Kris, for coming to our platform and sharing this amazing, very inspiring journey. And I promise when I'm back in Munich, I am visiting you for a yoga class, like sure shot.
Awesome. Well, also, thank you so much for inviting me. And like, I really also learned again some new things as well from you today. So it's super nice that I got this opportunity. It was my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you in Munich.
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of love out there for you in the comment section. Do have a look after it. For our audience, I would like to say that thank you so much for joining us. The video will be on our Facebook page, on our YouTube, and on our website www.neuphony.com. We have a very special offer going on until the 27th of November. That is like another 12 days because of the festivities in India. If you have any mental health issue, if you're a student and would like to purchase the device, please reach out to me via my Facebook handle, and we will definitely try to work a special discount for you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, Kris.
Bye-bye. Bye.